Welcome everybody to Rusty Money Gaming here on YouTube, a place where we gather in the barn house for challenges, live streams, let's plays, and more. So I hope you will sit back, relax, and enjoy this next creation by myself, Rusty Money. Welcome everybody, it's Rusty Money here on PlayStation Network and Rusty Money Gaming on YouTube. We are here on Farming Simulator 22 for PlayStation 5. Gonna load into this great map called Alone in the World. And you may ask, why are we alone in the world? Well, you are about to find out. But let's first select the map. We're gonna deselect all of these mods here. Then we're going to select a certain few of mods for the setup of this great challenge created by myself and Crustu on YouTube. First, we need this biotank. Then we need this country house. We need this lime production. This lizard 6205 pack. Oops, forgot one right here. Low cost silos. And I think that is all of them. Well, we want start from 0, just in case. And I think that is it. Now we will load into this great map called Alone in the World for this challenge that Crustu and myself are calling the Pioneer Challenge. Now those mods that we selected, the Start from 0 mod by our friend Yoast Modding is not required for this map installation, but the other mods are. Now you would not need these mods to set up this challenge, but if you want to set it up like I have here and follow this pattern, you will need those mods. So let's go ahead and load in. Alright, we are in Alone in the World via New Farmer mode. You may ask, why are we alone in the world? Well, that is because you have been discovered as a pioneer of sorts in the farming simulator world. You are the farmer that knows everything there is to know about the good ways to be successful in the agricultural world. And so you have been discovered to visit Alone in the World as you have received a phone call from a gentleman that was grandson of an individual that his nickname was Pioneer. The grandson lives in Alaska, off the grid, deep in the woods, off the grid in Alaska, and has no way to get back in and become a new progressive farmer as a pioneer in Alone in the World. So that grandson has called you to save the day and become a successful pioneer. So how low, or maybe not how low, but how old, rough and tough of a pioneer can you start out as? And how successful of a improved pioneer can you finish as? Well, this is just an example setup, as you will see my first episode following the release of this setup video, which will give you more of a feel of just how low, rough, and tough a pioneer journey can be. And you will later discover, if you follow along, just how successful and improved as a pioneer RustyMoney can become. Or you yourself, if you take on this challenge and follow Crustu and myself. So, where do we begin after we load in via New Farmer mode here on Alone in the World for Farming Simulator 22 on PlayStation 5 or PC? Now, first off, only cross-platform mods are allowed for this challenge. And also, the other limitations to this challenge consist of the following. You can play this challenge in normal or hard economy, but not easy. You can play this in single, or I will even allow multiplayer mode to have some fun. But what else does this consist of? Well, first off, I'm sorry to tell you, but you cannot lease any items until you have paid off the debt that you are about to receive. You also may not acquire any additional loans for additional money. And I don't mean to be a bearer of bad news, but collectibles are available on this map, and you may not utilize a collectible until your debt is paid off in this challenge. The only way you may utilize a collectible is if it is in your way of farming. The other thing is you may set your settings all to your choice, except for choosing normal or hard economy to progress forward with the challenge. You can also use unreal capacity of 50,000 liters or less. You may use unreal power as long as that unreal power is reasonable. There is no need here in Alone in the World to use 1,000 horsepower or more. There just really is no reason to, but if you choose to, that is fine. I totally understand. You got to keep the game fun if you want to keep playing. Auto load is acceptable in this challenge. Fermenting silos are off limits until you have paid off your debt of $250,000, which you are about to receive. So the only way you can produce silage is by buying a silage bunker and compacting that silage in a silage bunker. Or I should say compacting that chaff in a silage bunker to create silage. Multi-crop greenhouse gardens are off limits, such as like the open air garden by Omatana. And the only reason I guess I'm choosing to keep such greenhouses off limits like the open air garden is because it would kind of ruin the challenge, if you will, by not raising the crops intended for the concept of this pioneering challenge. Now, Omatana does have some orchard trees or orchard greenhouse is, if you will. You may use those, except you cannot use grapes. Grape trees are off limits. Additional sell points. The concept of this whole entire challenge and choice of where this challenge is located is Crustu and myself love these types of maps where you can make it your own, like No Man's Land, Calm Lands, and others, just like Alone in the World that we're here right now on. So we challenge you to utilize what is on the map as sell points, because there is a few different ones and they pretty much will accept any type of item you need to sell. If you choose to add in additional sell points, just encourage yourself to challenge yourself in limiting how many sell points you add in. Myself, I'm going to try and limit that to a small number of additional sell points. I'm still yet to decide what that number will be, but I'm really going to challenge myself to utilize the map. Additional productions are encouraged in this challenge, as you will need to at least purchase an additional 3 to 5 production points, and you will find out what I mean by that in just a few minutes. The starting equipment that you are about to see, or receive, I should say, at the start of this challenge, you cannot sell. You cannot sell that starting equipment in the entirety of your progress through this challenge. You must keep those items. The only time you could sell them is unless you have had a mod conflict of sorts and need to obtain a different piece of equipment that is in similar style. What else can I tell you about this here situation? Well, let's move forward by showing you what you need to do to progress forward with this challenge. First, what you should do is go into your game settings here, change this to normal or hard economy as recommended. All other choices for settings are your choice. Not going to restrict those. For this setup, I'm going to shut seasons off. I'm going to move it to 2 days. I'm going to put fixed in June and shut snow off and keep it like that. Now the next thing you need to do is go into finances, and in finances you're going to borrow $250,000. Alright, after you've borrowed $250,000, you may exit the menu. Now you may sell all of the equipment that is on the map once you have moved yourself to the farm. So automatically respawn to a vehicle. We will exit that vehicle and we will then sell all the equipment. Alright, after selling all of the equipment, what you need to do here in your new farmer mode is you have to keep the existing old barn right there, but you may sell off the silo and the house, but then you must incorporate a new house and new silo of your choice. So for this demonstration, after you have completed the following setup, this is what it potentially could look like. You need to make sure you have the existing barn still there, cannot sell it, have a house, a silo, 6 rows of grapes, a water point, and a animal pen, which must be horse. And place down a grain mill on your piece of property here in new farmer mode. So it would potentially then look like this. But before we do that, I'm going to show you how to place the grapes. In your landscape screen, you'll go to production, you'll go to orchards, you will select grapevine, you will go down to this corner of the field here. You will stretch your first row of grapevine the length of this field and place it like so. So you will place your other 5 rows of grapes on either side of this existing row, and it should look something like this. Alright, welcome back everybody. Well, after you have set up your farm like this example, you are ready to start the challenge. Now you may reduce your money to 25,000 plus or minus 1,000 due to those that play on console and have a difficult time getting the money exactly to 25,000. But I would suggest using Yos's mod called Start From Zero and helping you reduce money. So, after you've done that, you're ready to start the challenge. But before you do that, you need to completely see this example. As you can see here in front of us, we have 6 rows of grapes. So we put 2 more rows off to the right hand side of that first row you saw me place, and we put 3 additional rows off to the left hand side. Then what I did is I placed a grain mill on my piece of property over here, and I placed down a horse pen next to the house with 1 horse in it. You cannot put feed or water in the pen. Only by the horse. No feed or water in the pen. And then also put down a water point right there by the corner of the barn, that water tank. And I kept the silo right there, and the existing barn as directed. All right, after you have placed those items, then buy the following starting equipment, which, everybody, just happens to be a grape harvester. You must buy this grape harvester whether in-game or modded, your choice, as well as a little tractor to go with it. A little vineyard tractor of your choice, in-game or modded. After you have purchased those two pieces of equipment, reduce your money to $25,000 or less, and then you are ready to progress forward in this challenge. Once you progress forward in this challenge, to complete stage 1 of the challenge is to complete building your pioneer farm, your low, rough and tough old little pioneer farm. And to complete building your little farm, you must add in 2 additional animal pens, whether that be a cow and a pig or a cow and a chicken pen. So then you must buy and place either cows or pigs on this here farm, or chickens, whichever you choose. Just 2 additional animal pens. Capacity, not going to be too restrictive on capacity. Just be reasonable. Don't just buy 1 animal and move on. As well as buy 2 additional storage sheds for equipment and place it on this farm. And then what you must do to also complete stage 1 is raise enough crop to produce 25,000 liters of flour from your grain mill over there. Now, after you have completed stage 1, stage 2 consists of buying another piece of property on the map. So on Alone in the World, you will buy another piece of property here, such as plot 9 for $172,750. And then you must upgrade your milling business, your grain milling business, by buying and purchasing a second grain mill on that new plot of land. After you have completed that, then it's the last of the goals, which is to build a second farm on that second plot of land, or wherever you choose to do at that time. You may have a third plot of land bought by that time. So then build a second farm with a second new house, a bigger animal pens. You must have all animal pens, new animal pens, except for horses. So you'll need cows, chickens, sheep, pigs. And then you need to sell an additional 50,000 liters of flour from your 2 grain mills. And once you have completed that, everybody, that is a wrap. You have become a successful pioneer here in Alone in the World. Now, I'm not sure if Krusty's gonna follow along, but I believe he will. The other part of this challenge that I'm going to implement myself is the following. I must buy 3 to 5 additional production mods and use those mods to support my animals. So I must buy a production mod from the mod hub and place it to produce TMR for my cows. I must buy and place a production mod to create hay and place that somewhere for my sheep. And then I must buy and place a production mod to make pig feed and place it somewhere throughout this challenge. And then as well as a production mod to make chicken feed and horse feed. Now, you do not have to have all 5 separate. I will allow 3 of 5, so have a mod that makes both TMR and maybe hay as one, or have a additional production mod that makes chicken feed and horse feed, whatever you choose to give those animals appropriately. But that is what I'm going to do in addition to everything that you have learned here. Now, I don't believe there should be any additional questions. I hope. I think I've covered it pretty much in a nutshell. But yeah, watch my start to the challenge, everybody. You will then also get the feel of how you're supposed to set it up by watching it hands-on. But if you've enjoyed this and think it might be interesting to conquer alone in the world as a pioneer, please drop a tasty treat on that like button, which is better known by myself as a cop battery and by you all people as delicious donuts. Don't forget to leave us a comment in the comment section, and please share a box of donuts by sharing the videos from the channel on all of your social networks, and we will see you all on the flip side, everybody. Have a good one.
PlayStation